Reset, no, start. Ah. Uh, yeah. Surprisingly enough, you can have music playing the background without having it be heard on stream, you know? You know that? what a crazy revelation. There we go. So, I think I have it. PDF somewhere. The question is, where? Ah, amazing question, no clue. I will have to look. Documents. What? The metaphysics of the healing. No. Menon? Yeah. PDF? Why are you opening it on Edge? What? No, don't do that. It works. The point is, I have it, I found it. So that's good enough. Yeah. Now open with browser. Different browser. Page. What was the page? 20, 20, 20, yeah. 2059. It's like a Vatha Parva here? We didn't live here, what? Did I not update that? Wait. Let me check. Mahabharata. No, yeah, it was. Was it actually. We left here? What? Weren't we like incredibly close to beginning a different Parva? What happened? What's up with this? I think I remember the story at the very least. Go Harana Parva. Yeah. We are on Canto 25. That's where the new one begins. And we are on Canto 16. So, okay, I see. Good. Good enough, I guess. How many pages? Like 10? 20? 20 or so, I guess, yeah. Also, yeah, I was watching the thing. Why is the microphone so low, or is it me that I am not speaking with enough energy, enough intent behind my voice? I hate speaking. Why can't we communicate telepathically? Yeah. No, yeah, it actually is a little bit low. Why does it constantly change its own volume? Don't advanced options. I have it so that nothing can change its levels. Happens. Can happen, I guess. But no, still. No. It's 5%. It's not 5 decibels. 5% makes the entire difference. Wait. Audio mixer. Open. Microphone. Levels. Now it's at 100%. At 90, it stops being, well, at 90, 96, and it stops, it still isn't functioning correctly. Why? Amazing technology. Tecnología. So why do we have a cool room open? It happens. Um, no, I said a cool room. Now I'm gonna get actually blasted by PlayStation. I forgot all that it's a forbidden word. This is a stream, so when I get taken down actually. What am I looking for? Ah, yeah. Am I looking for TSIN? I think I had it set up. I just need to actually put it in its proper place. I have a random question. Is text art? Is it literature? Art? Yes, the answer is a resounding yes. It is not only a form of art, one of its most profound and multifaceted expressions. Through language, structure, symbolism, and emotional depth, literature crafts aesthetic experiences that rival painting, music, and film. Okay. Isn't there like a term that is. What? Why do we talk out the six arts? At least that's a concept here in Argentina. Why do we talk out that if it comes from China? I mean, how did we get that here? What? Writes music, archery, what? Races, calligraphy, mathematics. Are you sure that's what I'm. Are you sure that's what we're talking about? I'm pretty sure that's not that. Uh, Major arts. So, different list, completely different list from the West. Paintings, sculptures, architecture, music, dance, poesy, or literature. So, there we go. And the seventh art is cinematography. Wow, amazing. Wait, is this? This isn't cinematography. What is this? What? I guess on a level it's way too high to say, oh yeah, we are doing art, but happens. We aspire to do great things. Anyway, I, I, I distracted myself. My bad. I am. I was already all alone. I was just curious, actually. Uh, Good morning. It has been incredibly long since the last time that we have read anything, so we should actually continue. Uh, yeah, that's the basic premise of the. I I don't know. I said something in the Discord. I said something along the lines of, you know what? Perhaps this year. I don't think we're gonna finish it. I I checked. We progressed like 500 pages. Nothing else last year. So if that's the return and the whole book is 7,000 pages, a quick math reveals that we're gonna be probably doing along the lines of how much? 10 years? 12 years? Amazing. It's no, no. I don't know. I guess it's the point is not that we're gonna be so long. Yeah, actually, uh, just that yeah, certainly it's interesting to see that happen. But yeah, anyway, point being, reading. Do you want to not dox me? Why are you capturing everything? There we go. Uh, let me resize the window. I don't know why it's changed itself. Man. Also, uh, I'm thinking, did I have I guess at some point we're gonna have like a break or something. That's for the best, I guess. Anyway, we can move to here. Good. Welcome. As I was saying, yeah, we were here on the Mahabharata, basically. Um, what has happened? I actually don't remember. It hasn't been that long, has it? It actually hasn't been that long, but I have a bad memory. Excuse me. I tend to not remember things so clearly. So we are gonna find out all together today. But no, yeah, the whole overarching narrative, so to speak, is that we are still with the Pandavas. Ah, yeah, I remember. We were basically the whole story so far is quick rundown. The Pandavas, the other guys, the people who we are reading about, were sent to live in somewhere to pass an entire year in disguised or unrecognized, basically. And we were reading out how that has been going so far. I think, yeah, we were being presented with the issue of the Pandavas are 5 brothers and their wife. Okay, the 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 actual conflict, the current conflict is the wife of them is because of the whole idea is all of the Pandavas and whatnot are like some of the most amazing human beings to ever exist, their wife included. So there's something that happens because the wife is so, I guess, amazing. Uh, she's way too beautiful to her own, what's the word? In a way in which it basically ends up negatively affecting her. Why? Because the conflict right now is said wife, while trying to remain hidden, has to endure heavy pressures from, yeah, from the men in the city in which they are hiding. There, there is a whole story. There is a whole narrative of every single Pandava occupying a position of power and whatnot and becoming an influential person until under uh, facade unavoidably and whatnot, and that is not only interesting. I guess it does have some aspect to it in terms of, oh wow, what would that mean? Why would the Pandavas choose those shows or occupations or positions of power specifically and whatnot? But I don't know. I I kinda ignored that whole point. We are not gonna look at that. So yeah, it's just to at the very least, yeah, mention that probably there is something to analyze there. Maybe, maybe, maybe there is. I prefer to not do that. So yeah, we have to actually see what happens with the whole issue of what was her name? I don't actually remember. The woman. Anyway, yeah, continuing or beginning basically today. Canto 16. Kichaka Vadha Parva continue. Kichaka says, "Oh, welcome, you of the shimmering tresses that end in girls of such beauty. Dawn has brought me an auspicious day, for you are here today to be mistress of my house. Make me happy. I will have golden necklaces, conch shells, bright gold earrings, precious jewels from distant lands, rubies and other gems, as well as silks and the softest deer skins to be brought for you. I have a luxurious bed prepared. Come, sit on it and share this honey wine with me." Draupadi says, "The queen sent me here to fetch wine. I beg you, give it to me quickly, for she is thirsty." Kichaka says, "Gentle one, someone else will take the princess what she wants," and seizes Draupadi's arm. She cries, "I have never been unfaithful to my husbands, even in my mind. Vile men, you have laid hands on me, and I swear I shall see you dragged down to the ground and lying powerless." Provoked by the reproof of that large-eyed beauty, Kichaka suddenly takes hold of the end of her upper garment, even as she tries to escape. His brutishness is unbearable. Krishna's breath quickens, and her body trembles in rage as she thrusts him away from her, making the evil one fall like a tree whose roots are cut. Having flung Kichaka down, Draupadi, shaking, runs for refuge to the sabha where Yudhishthira sits. Kichaka jumps up and pursues her, catches her by her long hair in the very sabha, throws her down before the king himself, and kicks her savagely. Then Mahabharata, the invisible Rakshasa, whom Suryadeva sent to protect her, attacks Kichaka forcefully as a gale wind, and Kichaka reels and falls like an uprooted tree. Yudhishthira and Vimasena are both in that royal guard, and they watch Kichaka's outrage of Krishna's in fury. Bhima wants to kill Virata's Senapati. He gnashes his teeth and beads of sweat break out on his heavy brow. His eyes darken as if with smoke, his eyelashes stand on end, and that slayer of enemies buries his head in his hands. He's about to fly at Kichaka when, in fear of being discovered, Yudhishthira presses down hard on Bhima's thumbs, restraining him. And looking like an infuriated elephant eyeing a large tree, Bhima stays where he is, prohibited by his elder brother. Yudhishthira says, "Are you looking for trees for fuel? Oh, cook, if you need kindling, go to the forest." Through her tears, Draupadi of the graceful hips sees her enraged husbands, and she remembers their bleached and her duty to maintain her disguise. Her eyes flash fire as she says to the king of the Matsyas, "Today this son of Asuta has insulted the proud and beloved wife of powerful beings. He will find no sanctuary, even if he puts 4 kingdoms between himself and them. Oh, this son of Asuta kicked the wife of great beings of truth, who are devoted to Brahmanas and whose charity is unconditional. This son of Asuta has kicked the chaste wife of beings whose drums and bowstrings are never silent. This son of Asuta has dishonored the dearly loved wife of heroes who are mighty and vigorous, who are generous and proud. Oh, this son of Asuta has kicked the wife of beings who could destroy the whole world if they were not bound by ties of Dharma. Where are those warriors now who, though living unknown, always grant protection to those who ask for it? Why do these fiery conquerors allow their wife to be abused by Asuta's son, as if they were eunuchs? Where is that rage of theirs, their power, their ardor? How can they stand by and watch a base wretch humiliate their wife? What can I do when this honorable Virata calmly watches an evil man abuse an innocent woman? You do not deal with this, Kichaka as a king should. Your behavior is that of a common criminal. It does no credit to this royal sabha. It is not Dharma that I have been vilely abused in your oppression, and you do nothing to redress the wrong. Let all who are present here see this outrage. Kichaka has ignored the Dharma, and Virata has done the same. You courtiers who wait upon such a king are equally lacking in honor. Raises Krishna, her eyes streaming. Virata says, "I do not see what quarrel led to this. Without knowing the truth, how can I rule in one person's favor?" When the courtiers hear what took place, they support Krishna with applause, saying, "Well done," and condemn Kichaka. They say, "The husband who possesses this lovely-eyed and graceful woman of inestimable worth is a most fortunate man. Rare indeed is a woman of such extraordinary and flawless beauty. Why, she seems to be a goddess. Meanwhile, as the courtiers praise Krishna, Yudhishthira's brow perspires in anger. And that bull of the Guru says to his wife, "Do not stay here, Sairantari. Return to Sudeshna's apartments. Wives must yeah, wives must endure torment for the sake of their husbands. They attain Swarga by suffering." Ah, no, sorry. I, I guess I kinda mixed myself. Let me start again. It was Yudhishthira. Sorry. "Do not stay here," said Anhi. "Return to Sudarshan's apartments. Wives must endure torment for the sake of their husbands. They attain Swarga by suffering great hardships while serving their lords. Your Gandharva husbands, radiant as suns, do not consider this an apt occasion for unleashing their anger, which is why they do not rush to your side. You weep theatrically in distress because you do not know the deeper significance of all things. Besides, you interrupt the play of dice in the king's court. Leave, Sairantari. The Gandharvas will do what you want. They know of your troubles and will kill the man who has wronged you. Krishna says, my husbands are loving, but they are controlled by one among them and cannot act freely, for that eldest of them is addicted to dice." And Krishna goes back to Sudeshna's apartments, her hair disheveled, her eyes blazing, and her face flushed and swollen from weeping. She returns like the moon breaking out from behind clouds. Seeing her like that, Sudeshna asks, "Lovely one, who has hurt you? Why do you cry? Who has upset you? Gentle one, why this grief?" Draupadi says, "When I went to fetch wine for you, Kichaka attacked me in the very presence of the king, in his sabka, as if in an unpeopled forest." Sadeshna says, "Last Madden Kichaka abused you because he cannot have his way with you. I will have him killed if that is what you wish." Draupadi says to her, "There are others whom he has wronged who will kill him. He will go to Yamaloka this very day." And yeah, that's Canto 16. And so, welcome, Raymond. Sorry. Okay. Question is, anything else? I guess the only important thing what edition is this? The Penguin Classics? I have it saved as the Menon Ramesh version. I don't know exactly how do you classify them. I found this PDF online. I don't actually know. I think it's probably the one that you find when you look on the Internet Archive. I guess that's the most accurate answer that I can give you is that one. Translated by Menon Ramesh. That's all that I know. Let me copy the page in which I am so that I don't lose myself. Here, the complete Mahabharata, Rupa. No, yeah, it has literally no other indication, so I have no clue what to actually tell you. If, yeah, no, that's that's all that I can actually say. Yeah, by Rupa Publications, 2009. That's Mite. What? What? To say what? Are you okay? What? Am I blind? What are you saying? To say one? What? No clue what they're saying, but yes, I guess no. It must be an old one. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think. Okay, sorry. I think. Wait. I can actually check that. It's something along the lines Menon Ramesh supposedly translated. No. It was a retranslation of an already existing one. Let me see if I can find that one. that would be a new volume here. Many believe this most magnificent epic to be the greatest story ever told. Yet the only full Indian translation of the Mahabharata into English is the 19th century one by Kisari Mohan Ganguly. More than 100 years have passed since Ganguly accomplished his task, and the language he used is now sadly archaic. It's a retelling, line by line, in fresh, easily readable English prose. It's like re-expressing what the Ganguly one. That's what I have understood from all of this. The issue is, once again, there is no other context that I can give you. It has no here any other information. No, yeah, absolutely nothing else to know. No, wait. A brief introduction. Let me see. Perhaps I can actually answer properly. The last version, yeah, Ganguly, yeah, but he wrote it between 1883 1896. It is still the only full English prose. It might be the one they're using on Cambridge, perhaps. I don't know. I suppose. Yeah. We, a group of Indians, writers and editors, warm and patiently supported by publisher Rupa and Co., undertook a line-by-line retelling of the complete Mahabharata. That's all that it says. Amazing. Make of that what you can. I guess something along the lines of supposedly. I don't know if it truly is retelling what the Ganguly version had or what, or based on the actual texts, perhaps. Who knows? Who knows? The important thing is, yeah, that's all that I can actually say. No other context clue to give here. But yeah, I don't know. I so far I can say it even has like typos here and there. It's amazing. It's the Mahabharata wasn't fully translated till like 2022. It makes sense, but isn't this complete? Are you sure? Is it by the same guy? Isn't I not do I don't have the complete Mahabharata. I don't want to actually like the whole idea of you don't want to spoil yourself, you know? Can I let me move to the last pages? What does it say? The end of the Sorga, the 18 paravas of the Mahabharata are thus complete. That's how the book ends. I am pretty sure. I don't know. Perhaps. We. I don't know, man. That's what the book says. I have no clue. They always went like anything. I went like, fuck it, makes sense. Amazing. I mean, unavoidably, I will also probably lose my mind if I had to translate 7,000 pages myself. Or, oh wow, a team of 20 people, still way too much. It's like, is it even comparable to something like the Bible? I'm pretty sure the Bible, how many pages does the Bible have? I don't know. I might be making stuff up. Don't take that opinion into account. But yeah, it's something along those lines, basically. It's too much text to try to translate, and even more, you have to be like incredibly generous here because they didn't do the whole aspect of the lyricality and whatnot when translating, and a complete translation respecting the formula and whatnot probably will be even harder. So yeah. You get words in? Oh fuck, happens. It's an interesting experience, I guess. I don't know. It's meaningful enough. It's, I don't know, like many other texts. There is always stuff to learn. The only quote unquote issue is actually trying to pay attention to understand anything. But wow, I have to consciously read what I am actually reading. Cannot be. No. Yeah, it isn't that bad actually. It's not so negative to pay attention. It's not so. I guess even more once you get into the flow of actually and understanding how some messages are given, I guess it becomes far more easily doable. But yeah, let me drink some water. And yeah, that was the first kind of the day. I don't know. Point is message. I don't really have anything to say. I guess I have one thing. No, sorry, I lied. One thing. One thing that I feel like it's incredibly funny in a way. This is more like a literary critic, no message in terms of, oh wow, yeah, no, this is indeed something amazing. Wait, maybe wait, yeah. Let me elaborate. Uh, what is it? This Krishna says, my husbands are loved, but they are controlled by one among them and cannot act freely, for that eldest of them is addicted to dice. That thing. I I don't actually remember. Perhaps there was other mention out in a way, yeah, a gambling addiction that the main Pandava, aka Yudhishthira, has. Why does that matter at all? Eh? There is an entire movie. You can make an entire movie. I don't think you can make an entire movie. I should. That has to be an absolute trip to watch. I didn't even know that existed. I should actually write that down. There is a movie now. Since when did they make a movie? Wait, I have a source in OBS. Let me write it down in OBS. That's easier. Somewhere. It's good. It's good. It's I mean, as long as it can. I don't know. Yeah. What I was saying. I don't think you can actually portray the entire story in 9 hours. Isn't it like 13 years? Aren't there like sagas like the whole, oh yeah, visiting the theaters and healing the soul and understanding the messages of the masters and all the battles? Well, I guess the battles you can do, despite their visual, yeah, the whole visual display and whatnot, it's possible to do them shortly enough that even in text they don't talk about that much. There is an entire movie of the Bible too. What? I I'm sorry, I don't watch cinema. I is it like popular? How do I not know that there was a movie about the entire Bible? I know that there is something like the Passion of Christ or so. That one is long as hell, but not about the entire Bible. How can you fit everything like oh yeah, the story of and the whole narrative of the whole arc, the character arc of Jesus and whatnot. The main stuff. I don't know. It sounds interesting. It's I would. I don't know if I would watch the movie, taking into consideration that I want to read the whole book. I guess I will watch the movie after reading it, something along those lines. That would be a respectable way to proceed, because it sounds interesting, but it's way too short. Based already on the how much 1/5 of the book that I have read or so. If you get the ending of the Mahabharata with the law and shit, you get the message. There is a law. Amazing. No, yeah, I don't know. I have, yeah, it's all good. I can still somewhat understand when it's not when it's basic broken English, I can understand, but yeah, don't worry about it. Ah, but yeah, I was saying, I don't know. I guess the only important part here present is the aspect of the dice addiction of Yudhishthira as a character, and I don't know. I can't ever remember. There is like a tradition. I don't have the capacity to remember the name of that particular tradition. The way in which you analyze text, trying to extract a meaning from it, trying to apply what is being said, instead of the character being the character, everything representing some sort of allegory and whatnot. That whole mode of conveying veil the messages, so to speak. Um, and I feel like you could very much say, therefore, Yudhishthira might as well be, in this case, it's a Pandava, supposedly, conception that I utilize. The Pandava might as well be the group of people that the most well represents the good attributes in humans, something along those lines. And it shouldn't be so surprising then to understand that, or to do the mental exercise of saying, therefore, unavoidably, if even a Pandava has problems with something like the addiction to dice, as it's said here, therefore, gambling addiction, it's something like, it's way too basic to simply say the human has a tendency to be addicted to playing or whatnot. It's, I don't know, in more modern interpretation, something like, I have heard about that recently, actually. There is something along the lines of, we live in a civilization that enjoys a lot to give us things that make the brain itself, so to speak, the chemicals inside of the brain, the whole aspect of the dopamine and the endorphins and the serotonin and all of that go incredibly hard. It's perhaps you can take it from that side instead of just saying, oh yeah, the Pandava, one of the Pandavas is addicted to gambling, therefore the human might as well have a tendency to simply be addicted to gambling. I think it's more along the lines of, yeah, what do we know? The Skinner box stuff of sometimes we like randomness. Perhaps it's that message. Perhaps I am stretching it incredibly thin. I am completely twisting the original message, but we are fine with that here. We don't have a guru to kill us for not respecting the sacred texts. And also, yeah, don't worry, it's all fine. Once again, it's understandable enough. It doesn't matter if English isn't your first language. It's all good. Don't worry. But yeah. The Iliad and the Mahabharata. The Iliad, you will say the Iliad. The Iliad, I don't know if the Iliad, I guess. With the Iliad, I don't know, I guess I will propose something quite different. Unavoidably, okay, before continuing, something along the lines of, I'm pretty sure in the current world in which we exist, despite it not being so much of a predominant religion nowadays, or so directly being predominant, you still need to give some recognition itself to Christianity in a way, or to, how do you call it? Not just monotheism, but like, what is Catholicism and such, all of those other religions that are based on the concept of the God, the one God, but that don't include inside of their canon Jesus and whatnot. Yeah? War poems? I, yeah, from that side it makes sense. But, I mean, the Iliad didn't have that much of an influence. Something like the whole aspect of how you experience the world and how you get to see people behave aligns a lot more with the Bible itself. Not in terms of, oh no, yeah, we're Christians deep down our hearts, even if we are aware of that, but along the lines of that gets to be as equally comprehensive. The Iliad does have some narrative threads and some arguments that are in themselves very useful, but with the stuff like the Mahabharata and the Bible, you have the whole aspect of, like, I don't know, let me search for an actual example, something like, no, yeah, if genetic person reading this also applies to you. In the Iliad, there are, I noted there are some of them, mostly inside of the discussions that happen when they are debating the morality of some of their actions and whatnot, but that is mostly absent compared to, once again, or not absent, the weight and the amount of them that you can find in stuff like the Bible itself is higher, I guess. That's my argument. I wouldn't say the Iliad to be that important. I don't know. I don't think. I know that in all the recent narrations, at least here at some point, you had to read the Iliad and whatnot, but it's for a reason. We have stopped actually paying that much attention to sticking to those classics, even if we understand that they are classics and whatnot. We are not anymore so prone to discuss them openly. And I mean, can I stop beating the horse? There is another addition that I will also make. There is Huasim, and I just cite the proper source. I think it was Durkheim, one of them that, fuck, I don't remember, a sociologist, one of the main foundational sociologists that discusses something about also one of the many influences that one of the currents that are born out of Christianity end up having in the Western world and whatnot. The Iliad, once again, it does have its significance, but it's not as influential as something like the Bible. Anyway, continuing, sorry. Canto 17. Kichakavarja Parva continued. My Sampayana said, incensed by what the suitor's son did to her, Krishna, fervently praying for the death of Virata Senapati, goes to her room. Draupada's dark-eyed daughter bathes herself. She cries as she washes her body, and she wonders how she can wash away her grief. She says to herself, what am I to do? Where can I go? Then she remembers Bhima and says, there is no one except the Bhima who can do what my heart is set on. That night, grief-stricken and wrathful Krishna, protected by her powerful, unseen Rakshasa guardian, leaves her bed and hurries to Bhimasena's apartment. She glides into her second husband's chambers and says, how can you sleep while Kichaka, Virata's red Senapati, my enemy, still lives after the vile thing he did to me today? The room where Bhima sleeps, his breath loud like a lion's, is lit by Draupadi's beauty and his own magnificence. Krishna goes to him in his cook's apartments, eagerly as a young untamed cow in her fierce heat, to a bull like a heron by the waiter waiter, water aside to her mating season. The princess of Panchala embraces the second son of Pandu as a frail creeper hugs the great Sala tree on the banks of the Gomati. Krishna takes him in her arms and rouses him, as a lioness does a sleeping lion in the forest. Embracing Bhimasena as a she-elephant does her mighty mate, Panchali says in a voice as alluring as a celestial Veena playing a Gandharva raga, "Wake up, Bhimasena. Why do you lie so still? As if you are dead? Surely one who is alive will not allow the wretch who disgraced his wife to live." Bhima Mahabahu wakes up. He sits up on his couch and says to his precious wife, "What brings you here in such anxiety? You look pale and worn. What has happened? Tell me everything. I must know the truth, happy or painful, pleasant or unpleasant, and I will find a solution to your distress. Krishna, of all your husbands, I am most worthy of your trust, for it is I who always save you from danger. Tell me what you want and why, then return to your bed before others awake." That's the entirety of Canto 17. Wow. And also, now, let me rewatch. Sorry. It's actually funny how, what? Homer, yeah. Un po' di recommendation while he was still alive. Because according to the Satzes, Hesslot spoke of good customs, like being a farmer, while Homer's poems were full of senseless violence, as if to hook the public. Yeah, I mean, that's the cool aspect of rhetoric and whatnot, in terms of you need to create compelling narrations. I'm not using my own idea, that's why I can't so easily explain it. I remember somebody who explained how the Iliad was in itself. Once again, the way in which we like to interpret the world through the text that we see through the different eras. The Iliad also has the character of, or the metaphorical value of being the representative of the, I think it was, yeah, we love it so much that it was even talking out that particular state of the, what was it? Greek? Or Roman? I don't remember exactly what. Republic and how they were finding themselves in terms of existence and whatnot. It was not so liked, supposedly, the theory says. It wasn't even as liked because it directly confronted the people from those eras with their own characters in terms of they were at the highest point in the wave and whatnot, and they were basically, yeah, continuously thrown into war and continuously immersed in conflict with other proto nations and whatnot. Most alteration. Alteration. I don't know, man. Alteration. That's a heavy sentence. Alteration. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if alteration, but yeah, I understand that it does have a value, but it's, I don't know. I somewhat I follow the argument, but I wouldn't go as far as to declare it the most important one. I don't know. As once again, not trying to imply. Yeah, but or a struggle also in terms of not just war, the eternal struggle for, that will be 2 words, struggle or 3. Wow, struggle for power and whatnot, which in the end still is considered inside war and whatnot to some degree, yeah, but at the same time it's also the whole concept of, but why? And unavoidably the no matter how much you want peace in such a place, it's the geographical location and whatnot will always bind people to have conflicts of that kind, I guess. So to speak, it's like many resources, incredibly valuable resources, were always available in Europe. So unavoidably there is going to be war. It's like, oh no, wow, we are living in a jungle that has nice fruits and whatnot. Maybe, but what if the fruit that you are eating looks nice to me? I will want that, even if I have my own piece of. Two world wars, both in Europe. I wouldn't go as far as to say both. The difference is the example of. I am pretty sure the nuclear weapons weren't deployed at all in Europe. It was like in completely distant places. Not geographically speaking, if you actually reduce the world shutdown map, it's not all that distant really, but it is still not Europe. What happened in Japan and what happened in America in the Second World War and whatnot. But yeah, it is still the whole aspect of what was it, the Archduke Ferdinand and whatnot being killed. Yeah, that indeed was the proper spark for the First World War. That is true, and also trying to agree, perhaps you also have more important events like the creation of something like communism and socialism and such concepts inside of Europe. It didn't happen anywhere else. After they were created, they got exported to other places of the world, or something like, oh no, yeah, from Europe, the rest of the world was quote unquote colonized, so to speak, with the whole America, as in United States, getting to be what it is thanks to England and we are not a history channel. I don't actually know all that well. I think it is like America, France, and Portugal or something like that were in charge of the exploration of the world, of the Americas in plural. But yeah, it's true that it's meaningful. But that once again, point being, I don't know if it is the most fundamental text, but the concession that I would actually give is, I don't know if there is one, as in only one text that you can say is the most important one. I think perhaps for a time it was one of the most important ones, but it's like, how much of an influence did the Iliad have in something like the Crusades of the Catholics, you know? You can always think about the through different eras, different texts get to occupy the first place, so to speak. As in, okay, what comes after that? I don't know, I guess. Right now, it will be way too complicated to describe. I guess in previous times, yes, stuff like what do you even use? A story? What's the proper story that we have for the like 18th century, 19th century? The Great Gatsby. No, that's sorry. Uh, but no, yeah. There's a letter from a colonial soldier from India in the British front in World War One, going, holy shit, we really are living the Caligula. Yeah, I mean, isn't also there a whole, I don't know if it is a theory, if it is the whole aspect of we. Yeah. No, that much is absolutely true. Yeah, but I wouldn't go as far as to say, oh no, it's the most important. It's I remember something like, and I would, okay, finally I can remember how the theory went. It's something like during the Renaissance, the whole illustrated people in Europe also, you have the Dante, Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy being also one of the most important texts after the whole Crusades and the whole times of kingdoms and the slow transition into more, I guess, nation-based states and or organized, yeah, or organized nations instead of pure kingdoms based on servitude. You had stuff like that. Then the whole aspect of something like, I think it was along the lines of the the Russians with their literature also ended up having the I fuck it out. I am so bad with names, sorry man. But it's like this guy, the finally fast that other text, which also serves to talk about the more the priceless spirits of the times during what I mentioned before, 18th, 17th century and whatnot. Yeah, no, without it. I mean, one shouldn't. You can. There are so many people that absolutely haven't lived their entire lives ignoring all those texts. It doesn't mean that you you should not read them, but I don't know. Obligatory texts, obligatory readings to some degree, sadly don't work. Once you are forced to something, people say, "Oh no, well, this is so useless because I am not doing it out of my own free will." I why Christianity and its free will deal irreparable damage to the human spirit. That is a meme. Don't kill me. Thank you. But yeah, anyway. I Is there any message in this canto? Meanwhile, I think no. I don't know. I Bensons. Wow, amazing idea. Let's get Bensons on those who slighted us. So triumphy. So absolutely correct message. Also, no, wait. I was gonna say also that text that most connects ancient Greco-Romance literature with Christians, Catholics literature is the marriage of Mercury and what? And philology? Who? Perhaps. Maybe. I actually don't even know what we're talking about this time, so I I will trust your word on that, perhaps. Perhaps. But no. Also, I remember I somewhat tried to learn about the creation of what was it? The whole Christian ethos, so to speak. And I don't actually even remember where they out of nowhere appeared. That whole missing link, of where did the first Catholics and Christians and whatnot appeared in society. That would actually also give a lot of clues, probably. Yeah, happens. I mean, there are so many wonderful books out there. The issue is, one will probably live their entire life never even knowing that they do so. Happens. But no, I was gonna, between say and also ask the other aspect of what I understand is that one of the many interpretations that are being given to stuff like the divine weapons that they have inside of the Mahabharata and whatnot, or not so much. The Mahabharata is about mortals. One of the things that I have seemed to catch when I was trying to learn about Hindu culture is one of the things that are being done is supposedly, in the end, one of the many things, one of the gods have their divine weapons, okay, and the nuclear weapons and weapons of mass destruction and whatnot are also being utilized to try and say that perhaps those are also signs of the Kali Yuga, what you said before. That's supposedly, I don't know. If you have any information on that, thank you. If not, continuing. I mean, continuing regardless. But yeah, that's the only thing that I know about the Kali Yuga. Besides that, personal opinion, are we in the Kali Yuga? No clue. I I don't think so. Supposedly, we already read at some point what was the Kali Yuga and what not. I don't think so. The Kali Yuga seems to be far more chaotic than what we actually are experiencing. Uh, like, even worse than what we are having right now. So, maybe we are not so close to the new cycle of existence, perhaps. We have to believe. We have to trust. We have to have hope, actually. But yeah. Canto 18. Kichakabadha Parva continued. Draupadi says, how can a woman... No, Draupadi. How can a woman who has Yudhishthira for a husband be free from sorrow, and knowing all that I have suffered? See? Suffered. How can you ask me this question? That Pratikami dragged me to the Guru guard and called me a slave before all the Sabha. That agony, Mahabharata, still consumes me. Which other princess could suffer such misery and still live? Who else but I could have borne what the evil lord of Sindhu did to me while we lived in the forests? Which other queen could live after being kicked by Kichaka in full view of the honorless king of the Matsyas? What is the point of my living, Bhima, when despite all this you ask me why I am miserable? The evil Kechakas is Virata's brother-in-law and commands his armies. He accosts me daily and propositions me and asks me to be his wife. Like an overripe fruit, my heart is bursting from that wretch who deserves to die, constantly importuning me. Chastise your elder brother who is addicted to dice. My unhappiness is his doing. Only a reckless gambler stakes his kingdom and everything he owns, including his wife, on one throw, against a life in the forests. If he had gambled day and night for years and wagered thousands of nishkas and other precious possessions, his wealth, silver and gold, costly robes, cattle, sheep, goats, and innumerable horses will still be past reckoning. But now, stripped of everything by a single throw of the ivory dice, he sits mute and ponders his foolishness. It is pitiful that he who travelled with 10,000 elephants adorned with golden garlands in his retinue now supports himself by throwing dice. Kings idolized Yudhishthira and hundreds of thousands of people worshipped him in Indraparashtra. In his halls, legions of serving maids attended on countless guests day and night. That most generous of men, who gave thousands of nishkas in charity every day, is now fallen because of his gambling, that the root of all evils, and has sunk to earning his livelihood by daily casting dice. Throngs of poets and rich admirers, decked in jeweled earrings, once sang melodious praises and paid homage to him all day long. Sadly, the great Yudhishthira, whom a thousand holy sages, all Vedic scholars, served, and whose every wish he granted, Yudhishthira, who maintained 88,000 Snatakas with 30 servants each, Yudhishthira, who looked after 10,000 yatis who had forsaken worldly life, this Yudhishthira now lives Agnatavasa in pathetic disguise. Yudhishthira is kind, without malice, and gives every man his due. He who has such admirable qualities now lives behind a mask. He of unquestionable power and steadfastness, who is fair-minded, compassionate Yudhishthira, who tends to the blind, the old, the helpless, the orphan, and the distressed. He is now a servant who calls himself Ganga, a thrower of dice in the Matsya king's court, and dependent on him. He, to whom kings of the earth used to pay tribute in Indraprastha, now begs for subsistence. He, under whose dominion all the lords of the earth came, has lost his sovereignty and is the subject of another. Yudhishthira, who blazed over the world like the sun, is now a leech of Virata. Pandava, look how your brother, whom kings and sages revered, now waits upon another, lesser king. How can anyone who sees Yudhishthira fawning on Virata and making adulatory speeches as his courtier not be heartbroken? How can anyone who sees the wise and noble Yudhishthira waiting on another for sustenance not be grief-stricken? And deserving though my lord may be of that sorrow, O Kshatriya, that Mahabharata whom the entire world worshipped is the one you now see adulating another man. When you can see all this, Bhimasena, why are you not able to see me in my misery, drowning in a sea of sorrow? And that's Canto 18. Thank you so much. 2000 years ago, Vyasa wrote all of this. I like, yeah. 8K words. You said words? Are you sure they are words? I'm pretty sure in only like 1,000. Okay, no, wait, sorry. I'm lying. I don't even know exactly how the writing system works there. Perhaps it isn't words. Perhaps. How many still? I wouldn't think words. Pages I can believe, but words. Like quadruple that amount. It still has like so many paragraphs. Even if the writing system that they use, Sanskrit is completely different to English. It's so much. But yeah, I don't know, I can't believe it. After having learned out, supposedly, one of the theories is something like the Bible was also written only by one person, supposedly, despite all the narration of, oh no, yeah, people having lived through different eras and whatnot. There is also some stuff that seems to indicate that there was like one writer, supposedly. So perhaps it's true. Or, as in something that is actually known, isn't there like a fan fiction? It's unavoidably uncomparable in terms of meaning and actual value to the rest of the society, no? But isn't there like a fan fiction that has like 4 times the amount of text that the second most long story has so far? Like, people can be actually incredibly dedicated. Now, to have important messages, that's a different story. But yeah, I can. Hashtag I believe. Also, yeah, I wasn't then meaning. Part of the question is, what is the meaning of this? I guess, yeah, in the end, probably. It was about actually the addiction to rice that Yudhishthira did have. I wasn't so wrong. What will be the correlation? Something along the lines of, because so ye wise human who decides to explore these texts, these too shall could happen to you if you allowed. I guess the wider message has to be vices, as with all of those comparisons, but yeah, in this case, it's about playing dice. Don't gamble. Kids, don't gamble. Wow, amazing. But besides that, anything else? I don't know. No, yeah, I don't actually see much so far. It's yeah. It's not that deep right now. It's not that deep. We can progress. Canto 19. Kichaka Vadha Parva continued. Draupadi continues. Draupadi continues. Oh, Maharata, I am going to tell you of another great sadness of mine. Do not be upset with me, for I say this out of grief. Who will not be sad to see you? Oh, Bhima, Bharata Rishabha, doing the work of a cook, so entirely beneath you and pretending to belong to the Vallava caste. What can be sadder than people knowing you only as one who plants in servitude as Virata's cook and called Vallava? When your work in the kitchen is over, you wait on Virata, and despondency grips my heart when that king makes you fight elephants for his amusement, and the woman of the inner apartments titter in enjoyment. Oh, I am sorely distressed when you wrestle with lions, tigers, and bulls for the entertainment of Princess Kaikeyi in the Antapura. I almost faint away. Kaikeyi and her maids come to help me, and finding that it is only a swoon, the princess says to her serving woman, "It is the intimacy she has with this man and her love for him that agitates this sweet smiling Sairandari when she sees the powerful cook wrestling with the beasts. She is lovely and Balava is handsome. It is difficult to know what is in her heart, but they seem to suit each other well. Very likely she sheds tears for him because they are lovers. They did both enter into her service at the same time. She scolds me, and when she sees that I am upset, suspects that we are lovers. When she speaks like that, my anguish is terrible. Terrible, terrible. Even though I am already sunk in grief because of Yudhishthira. In truth, it is when I see you, my awesome Bhima, enduring such torment that I want to end my life, and he who on his chariot single-handedly defeated all the Devas and Manavas is now the dancing master of Virata's daughter, Uttara, the son of Parita, the fathomless soul who pleased Agni in Gandhavavana, now lives in the Antapura of the palace like fire hidden in a well. That bull among men, the very same Dhananjaya who was the terror of his adversaries, now pretends to be that which all men abhor, a eunuch, he whose mace-like arms have been marked by the strokes of his bowstring, covers his wrists with conch shell bracelets and lives in grief. Arjuna, the thunderous twang of whose bowstring on his glove made enemies tremble, now entertains pampered women with his songs. Dhananjaya, who wore a crown of brilliant splendor, now wears braids ending in tawdry curls. Oh, Bhima, when I see that matchless archer wearing braids and living in the midst of women, I am weighed down by despair. That noble Kshatriya, master of all the Devastras and storehouse of all the Shastras, now wears woman's earrings. The man whom the greatest kings could not contain in battle, just as the waters of the oceans cannot cover the continents, is now dancing master to Virata's daughter and waits on her in disguise. My heart clenches in grief for Arjuna, the rumble of whose chariot wheels made the earth with all that rest on her tremble, whose beard banished Kunti's sorrows. That most honored Kshatriya, who is your younger brother, when I see him coming towards me with golden earrings and conch shell bracelets, Bhimasena. Dhananjaya, whom no bowman in this world can match, spends his time singing and surrounded by women. When I see Partha, fearless in virtue, truth, and honor, the most admired man in the world, dressed as a woman, sorrow overwhelms me. The sight of the godlike Arjuna in the midst of women in the hall of music, like a bull elephant surrounded by she-elephants, waiting on King Virata of the Matsyas, makes my mind a reel. My mother-in-law Kunti does not know that Dhananjaya is in such distress, nor does she know that the son of Kurus, Ajatasattu, thanks to his disastrous addiction to dice, is plunged in misery. Bhima, when I see the youngest of you all, Sahadeva, disguised as a gopa tending cattle, I grow pale. Sahadeva's plight is always on my mind and robs me of sleep. What can I say about the rest of you? Mighty armed, I do not know what sin Sahadeva, Kshatriya of perfect purity, committed that he suffers like this. Bharatotama, when I see your beloved brother serving the king of the Matsyas as his cowherd, sadness floods my heart. When I see that proud Kshatriya wearing clothes dyed red, giving his all to please Virata, fever consumes me. My mother-in-law Kunti always praised the nobility and unassailable integrity of Sahadeva. She, who is passionately fond of her sons, wept as she embraced him when we were about to set out for the forest, and she consigned him to my care. Sahadeva is shy, soft-spoken, and virtuous. He is also my favorite child. Yagnaseni watches over him day and night. He is delicate and brave, devoted to his elder brother, the king, and worships him. Panchali, tend to him yourself, she said. Pandava, how can I bear to live whilst looking at this best of Kshatriyas tending cows and sleeping on a bed of calf skins? And then he who wears like a crown the three qualities, beauty, strength, and intelligence, is now the steward of Virata's stables. How destiny has changed, Nakula! At the sight of him, hosts of enemy forces would flee from the battlefield. Now he trains swift horses for the Matsya king, and sad am I to see that handsome young man wait upon the gorgeously bedecked Virata and parade his horses before him. Oh, my Bhima, beset as I am with untold misery on account of Yudhishthira, how do you, slayer of foes, even drink that I cannot be happy? Listen to me, Countea, while I tell you all my other heartaches, which are worse than this and which cause me to grow emaciated with anxiety, although you are alive. Okay, that's Canto 19. Thank you. Yeah. Supposedly, yeah. I know the story is something like there are different kings that did live, and it's like I guess a fair comparison would be like if somebody tried to do a narration of what happened during the three kingdoms era of China and whatnot. For example, I I get that it seems to be that way, yeah, supposedly, but also the whole story of he lived out 800 years, so perhaps it's complicated. I again, I try my best to believe it, but the sentence ends there. Now, is there any actual meaning to this? I feel like it's only Draupadi complaining. The understandable fall from grace concept. Amazing reality. Wow. But is it necessary? Does it actually have anything inside of it to analyze? I don't think so. The greatness of character that can still be destroyed. How we could all, no matter how amazing we think we are, find ourselves in such negative situations. Maybe, perhaps, who knows? But Yeah, that's Kanto. I said before, 19. No, no more Kanto 19. Are we ready for Kanto 20? I think. Let me drink some water. Perhaps. How long is Kanto 20? Okay, amazing. We are reading Kanto 20, and after that, we are taking a brief pause. Yeah, that's how the story goes, or something like that. No, Draupadi, your voice kills me. But, anyways, continuing. Canto 20. Kichakabadha Parva continued. Draupadi says to Bhima, Alas, because of that reckless gambler, I am now under Sudeshna's command, and I live in the palace as a Sairantari. Parantapa, it is a pitiable condition that I, a princess and a queen, am now forced to endure. I wait in torment for the end of our exile, while I cling to the belief that success, victory, and defeat are not permanent, and I live in hope that my husbands will rise up again. Prosperity and adversity rotate like a wheel, and so I live in expectation of my husband's return to prosperity. The same fate that brings victory also fetches defeat. This hope keeps me alive. Perhaps, Bhimacena, you should think of me as being dead. I have heard that those who give great charity may, in time, have to beg. Those who kill may themselves be killed, and those who vanquish others may themselves be overthrown by their enemies. Destiny will prevail and is inexorable, and so, like a once dry tank filling again, I await the return of good fortune. All the same, when a trade that has flourished by dint of hard work fails, a truly wise person should never try to make it prosper again. Whether or not you want to hear it, I will explain why I say these things. For my sorrow is great. Who else but I, Drupada's daughter and queen of Pandu's sons, will want to live after sinking to such depths? My desolation is a shame upon the entire Kuru race, as well as the Panchalas and the Pandavas. There is no other woman who has so much to be joyful about, having a father, brothers, a father-in-law, and sons, who finds herself in a state such as mine is today. I must have done something to anger Kateri when I was young to deserve this. Yes, see how pale and worn I am. Even a life of hardship in the forest did not have this effect. Bhima, you know how sublimely happy I used to be, but now I am reduced to servitude and I have no peace. The awesome archer Dhananjaya now lives like a fire that has been extinguished. I attribute this to destiny. It is impossible for men to know the karma of living beings. O Britaputra, your fall could not have been averted. She who has you and your brothers together for her. Men who are like Indra himself, she who is chaste and noble by birth and nature, has now to attend to the comforts of her inferiors. Pandava, look at my plight. I do not deserve this. You can see how Kala has inverted the just order of things. Ah, she who had the whole earth to the edge of the sea under her sway is now the Sairatari of Sveshna and lives in fear of her. She who had protectors to walk before and behind her now walks before or behind Sudeshna. This protection. Wretched servitude is something else that I cannot reveal. Count Ea, listen to me. She who had never, not even for her own use, ground ointments, except for Kunti, now makes sandalwood paste for others. Look at my hands. Oh, they were never like this. She shows him her callous hands and continues. She who had no fear, not of Kunti or of you and your brothers, now lives as a slave in fear of Virata. She worries about what that king might say to her about the preparation of the salves, for he does not like sandalwood ground by others. And Krishna begins to sob, her streaming eyes on Bhima's face. With tear-choked sighs, she steers his heart powerfully, saying, Bhima, I must have offended the gods so terribly that in my misery I am still alive when I would rather be dead. Then, at the slayer of Kshatriya foes, Brigodara puts his face in his wife's delicate, scarred hands and begins to weep bitterly. He holds her hands in his and speaks to her through his tears. Said by Sampayana. That's Canto 21. I I had something actually. I kinda realize something there is. Yeah. As always, I do actually not enjoy that much that interpretation. But it is an available one. Perhaps it's something along the lines of wouldn't it take too long to explain? Let's try to do it anyways. We have like 2 minutes before I actually need to take a break. So one of the possible explanations that you can give to this, particularly in this context of Draupadi crying and whatnot, and his her husbands having to continue their life almost as if nothing negative was actually happening, I guess, is one of the many ways to see the world is based on the different archetypes that exist out there. Okay, then what? How does that correlate to this? It might be as well the whole concept of Draupadi plays the role of the archetypical woman to, or yeah, it's the archetypical female in the relation to be capable of showing the blind guys who are not realizing how incredibly bad the situation truly is. Where are things that need to be done and where are events that need to be addressed and whatnot. It's heavily reliant on the belief that it actually is the underlying text. It doesn't make it not happen at all in terms of archetypes do serve to try to compare and contrast what is happening, but they don't invalidate the events themselves. It's like, yeah, one of the few interpretations available for that is always, at the best, when you're reading in literature and you find quote unquote, with many quotes, archetypical moments and interactions between the different archetypes, it has to do with perhaps the portrayal of different situations that could occur in one's life. That's the concept, I guess. Implying, once again, implying many, many layers, perhaps. But yeah, anyway, I said it already like three. This is the fourth time or so. I need to take a break, so we're gonna have like 2 or 3 minutes of break. Thank you. Until then, I don't know, stretch or something like that. I will be back. But yeah, see you in 3 hours. No, wait, something to listen in the background. Meanwhile, you know what? No, listen to the silence of your own mind. No, enjoy the silence and think out the stuff that you have to think out. Something like that. Yeah. Anyway. Uh, Good evening. Why did I put an XD? What? I didn't put that XD. Ignore that XD. But yeah. Anyway, we are reading. We were reading. So, let me continue with that, I guess, yeah. I also, I remember the other day said, can you listen to this? Yeah, you can. Supposedly, the microphone shows that it picks up that me hitting the mic arm. Good to know. Why is it not capturing? What's up with that? Okay, there we go. Uh, the volume changed again. Man. No. Anyways, we finished. What was it? 19? No, 20. And I had another thing to say. I think more in a literal sense, in a literal interpretation. I think it wouldn't be all that crazy to say unavoidably there is also a lot of Draupadi who has been complaining for I think the last 3 or so cantos. The whole aspect also of losing the position of a queen and having to actually live the life of a commoner, losing all the commodities and whatnot. The surprisingly shocking reality that yeah, somehow the average person doesn't truly have that much of a quote unquote good life, simple life and whatnot, That's also the shock of having to live like that. Having to live with the pressures of the average person instead of getting to enjoy all the benefits and but yeah, all the nice things that come with simply being in such a position of power. That's another thing that might be available. I I think that's also incredibly obvious by itself. Like, oh yeah, this person who always belonged to royalty, has so many problems now that they have to live as a commoner. That's why, perhaps I am also wrong. Who knows? Anyway, continuing, continuing to Canto 21, yeah. Kichakavat Parva continue. Vimasena says, fire on the might of my arms, and fire on the Gandiva of Falguna, for as your hands, when soft and smooth, are now covered with calluses, I would have brought garnets to Virata's court if Yudhishthira had not forbidden me, like an elephant a melon. I would have crushed Kichaga's head, drunk with his own power as he is. Krishna, when I saw Kichaka kick you, in my mind I slaughtered the Matsyas. Yudhishthira forbade me with a look and pressing down on my thumbs. I understood and stayed my hand. Our kingdom has been taken from us, and I have not yet killed the Gurus. I have still to collect the heads of Suryodhana, Karna, Subala son Sakuni, and the bestial Dusasana. And this eats away at my very entrails and turns constantly in my heart like a dagger's point. Noble one of the graceful hips, do not sacrifice your virtue at the altar of wrath. Suppress your anger instead. If Yudhishthira hears your rebuke, he will take his own life. If the Nanghai and the twins hear you say what you have to me, they will do the same. And if they kill themselves, I could not bear to live. In olden days, Sarhati's daughter, the beautiful Sukanya, followed Siavana of Verigu's race into the forest. That sage's mind was under such control that ants pulled a hill over him while he was lost in Dhyana. You may have heard of how Indrasena, beautiful as Narayani, follow her 1,000-year-old husband. You have surely heard of Hanaga's daughter Sita, the princess of Videha, who, who followed her lord when he went to live in the forest, and how that lovely one, Rama's beloved wife, was beset by calamities and persecuted by Ravana, but was finally reunited with him. Then there was the young and captivating Lupamundra, who renounced all pleasures of the material world and followed Agastya Muni. Lofty-minded and flawless Savitri followed Yumatsena's brave son Satyavan into Yamaloka. You have all the virtues that this chaste woman possessed. My adored Krishna, be patient for just a little longer. In a fortnight the 13th year will be over, and you will be queen again. Draupadi says, I cannot bear my sorrows, and grief alone makes me weep. Mighty Bhima, I do not condemn you, Yudhishthira, for there is no point of brooding over the past. Instead, one should live for today. I am pained by the efforts that the jealous Sudeshna makes to keep the king far from me. Knowing her anxiety, Baal Kichaka constantly propositions me. Subduing my anger and disgust, I said to the lustful wretch, Kichaka, be warned, I am the beloved wife of the 5 Gandharavas, and they will kill you. Brazen one? The arrogant son of Asuta replied, I am not in the least bit afraid of Gandharavas, or Sairantari of the sweet smiles. I can mow down 100,000 of them in battle. So, timid one, give yourself to me. I said to the last maddened Sutta, you are nothing before my illustrious Gandharavas. I am virtuous and born of noble blood, so I never wish that on anyone. Kichaka, but it is the only reason you are still alive. The friend, the fiend just laughed loudly, constantly entreated by her brother and moved by her love for him. Sudeshna sent me to him, saying, O Sairantiri, make me wine from Kichaka's palace. When he saw me, Yasuda's son first tried to woo me with cunning flattery, and when that failed, he grew furious and was about to ravish me. I pushed him down and ran to the king, but Kichaka followed me into the royal guard. Ah! He flung me to the ground and kicked me in Virata's very presence and in full view of Kanka and many others, including charioteers, royal courtiers, elephant riders, and merchants. I rebuked the king and Kanka repeatedly, but Virata did nothing to stop Kichaka, nor did he punish him. Kichaka's influence over Virata is powerful indeed. He is cruel and bereft of dharma. The queen and king are very fond of him, although he is fearless, proud, sinful, adulterous, and obsessed with pleasure. He has amassed vast wealth from the king, and he forcibly takes anything he likes from other men, even if they cry in distress. He does not walk the path of Dharma, nor does he do anything virtuous. He is black-hearted, vicious, haughty, debased, and licentious. Although I have rejected him repeatedly, if he sees me again he will violate me, and if that happens, I will take my life. Bhima, all your dharma and restraint will become meaningless if I die. You might keep your palace to Yudhishthira, but you will lose your wife. By protecting a wife, the children are protected, and by protecting the children, one's soul is preserved. In a wife, one's own self is born, and that is why wise men call her Haya. A wife must also protect her husband, thinking, how else will he be born from me? I have heard Brahmanas declare the duties of the different Varnas, and they say that a Kshatriya has no other duty than to put down his enemies. Kichaka kicked me in the presence of Yudhishthira and you, mighty Bhima. It was you who saved me from terrible Khatasura. With your brother's help, you defeated Hayadratha. Now kill this evil Kichaka who has humiliated me. Confident of being the king's favorite, Kichaka soils my sorrows. Break this lust-driven creature's body like a pot of clay against a stone. Be warned, O Mahabharata, if another day dawns on this man who is the source of my grief, I will drink poison and put an end to my life before I am forced by Kichaka. I think it will be better that I die here in your presence. Krishna hides her face in Bhima's stares and weeps, and he holds her close and tries to console her as best as he can, shooting the slender daughter of Drupada with words of good sense and reason. He wipes her streaming face with his hands. Thinking of Kichaka, Bhima is dry mouthed with rage. He moistens his lips and speaks to the distraught Draupadi. That's Canto 21? Yeah. I think the only analysis that I have out of this is, yeah, I read what Krishna says as if it was more anger than sadness. The whole context, once again, is Krishna is actually like crying her eyes out and whatnot, no? So supposedly it should be a lot more sad. It's there is a theory like in cinema, no, where depending on the song that is playing, a, a scene's mood completely changes. Same thing here, because I don't actually feel like Krishna is doing it out of sadness. It's more, I do find it to be a much more hateful message than what it gets described as. Oh yeah, this queen is just in complete sorrow because of what happened. I would, perhaps I'm being hotly or something like that, no? Being hasty in my analysis, but I would even go as far as to say that Hiroshima might as well be incredibly childish. Anyways, anyways, continue. Canto 200, Canto 22. Kichaka Bhattha Bharava continue. Bhima says, I will do as you wish, my gentle one. I will kill Kichaka and all his men. Yaganaseni, tomorrow evening, put aside your sorrow and arrange to meet Kichaka in the dance hall. The king of the Matsyas had it built for the princess and her companions to use during the day. The girls return to their homes at night. And there is a fine wrought wooden couch there. From that couch I will send Kichaka to his ancestors. My slender Panchali, you must bring him there, and be careful that no one sees you. Having spoken thus to each other and having shed tears, they wait impatiently for the night to end. The next morning, Kichaka rises and goes to the palace, where he accosts Draupadi again. He says, I threw you down in the court and kicked you in the presence of the king, and no one did anything because no one dare face my wrath. This shall show you that Virata is king of the Matsyas only in name. As Senapati of the forces of the realm, I am the real lord of the Matsyas. Gentle one, seal willingly to me, and I will be your slave. You of the graceful hips, I will give you 100 niskas even now. I will employ 100 eunuchs and 100 women to attend on you. I will give you chariots drawn by mares of the finest pedigree. Let us be together, timid one. Draupadi replies, Oh, Kichaka, I have one condition. Neither your friends nor your brothers shall know of your relations with me. I am mortally afraid of being found out by my great Gandharvas. Promise me this, and I will give myself to you gladly. Kichaka cries, Let it be as you wish. I am lost in love of you of the shapely legs that taper like the stem of a plantain tree. I will come alone to your apartments to be with you so that your Gandharvas will know nothing. Draupadi says, No, when it is dark, go to the dance hall that the Matsya king has built. The girls who use it during the day return to their homes at night. The Gandharvas do not know that place, and we will escape their notice. During her conversation with Kichaka, impatient for revenge, the rest of the day seems as long as a month to Krishna, not dreaming that it was Death who had assumed the perfect form of a Sairantari. Kichaka goes home in a fog of delight, his mind thronged with images of passion. He anoints his body with fragrant oils and adorns himself with jewels and garlands. All the while absorbed with thoughts of that doe-eyed beauty, he waits for the interminable day to end. The magnificent Kichaka, who is about to lose his beauty forever, seems to shine more radiantly, like the flame of a lamp before it dies, deceived by lust into trusting Draupadi, absorbed in lascivious imaginings of his tryst with her. Kichaka hardly notices the day pass. Meanwhile, Draupadi goes to Bhima, stands before him in the kitchen, and she of the raven-black dresses says, "Oh, Parantapa, I have asked Kichaka to meet me in the hall of dance. He will come there alone at midnight. Kill him there, Bhima. This Daputra Kichaka, who is so vain that he dares mock my Gandharva husbands. Oh, strongest of all Kshatriyas, dispatch him from the world, just as Krishna did the Naga Kaligya from the Yamuna, Pandava. Dry my tears, and may you be blessed by protecting your own and Kshatriya Dharma." Bhima says, "Lovely one, this good news you bring is all I needed to hear. I feel as elated as I did when I killed Hidimba. I swear by truth itself, by the lives of my brothers and by Dharma, that I will kill Kichaka, even as Indra did Sura. I will tear him apart, out in the open if I needed to, and if the Matsyas fight on his part, I will kill them too. And when that is done, I will kill Duryodhana and win back the earth, if he wants to. Let Yudhishthira continue to pay homage to the king of Matsyas." Knowing Bhima, the danger his unleashed fury could put them in, Draupadi says, "My Bhima, kill him in secret so that you do not break your word to me." Bhima reassures her, "I will kill Kichaka and all his friends tonight, but secretly and under cover of darkness. Perfect one, like an elephant crushes a mango, I will crush the wild Kichaka's head for daring to crave the unattainable." When night falls, Bhima covers himself in a silken sheet and goes in advance to the meeting place, where he lies on the fine couch, like a lion waiting to ambush a deer, waiting for Kichaka. The Matsya Senapati arrives at the appointed time, perfumed and adorned and quivering in anticipation of meeting the Sairathari of his dreams. Instead, in that pitch-black hall, the evil one encounters a Bhima of the matchless prowess, who is already there, waiting on the couch, like a moth to a flame, or a small animal to a lion. Kichaka comes to Bhima, death personified, lying covered on the couch, smoldering at the thought of what the Matsya Senapati said and did to Krishna. Filled with ecstatic expectation, Lityrus Kichaka comes near Bhima and says, smiling, "Oh, you of the art's brows, I have given you all kinds of precious things from my storehouses, 100 maids, many beautiful clothes, and a fine mansion with an antapura full of lovely young sakhis, and furnished with everything to amuse and entertain you. Having arranged all this for you, I have come running to your side. You must know that women admire me, saying that no one is as handsome as I or as richly clothed." Pretending to be Draupadi, Bhima whispers, "I am glad that you are so handsome, and it is just that you praise yourself, but I do not think you will ever have felt a touch of pleasure as mine. You are gallant and strong, and your fingers burn my skin. You're an artist at love making and a favorite with women, and surely there is no other like you in this world." Then, suddenly, mighty arm, splendid and terrifyingly powerful Bhimasena, son of Kunti, rises from the couch and says with a laugh, "Wretch, today your sister will see me drag you along the ground, as lion does an elephant he has killed. With you dead, 'tis a Ratari and we, her husbands, will live in peace." Saying this, Bhima takes Kichaka by his flower-decked hair, but the strong Kichaka pulls loose from Bhima's grasp and seizes Bhima's arms. Full of fury, those two lions among men fight like two bull elephants over a female incision. Why? Bring to mind the long ago titanic battle between the Vanara brothers Bali and Sugariva. Their arms raised like five hooded snakes. Bhima and Kichaka tear at each other in a frenzy of fury. Kichaka's onslaught takes Bhima by surprise, but the Pandava does not falter. Fiercely they fight, locked together, dragging each other this way and that, like two humped bulls, like snarling tigers with teeth and nails. They fight unarmed, like elephants with temples cracked and using the wild suits of must. They fling each other down. When Bhima seizes Kichaka, Kichaka the strong hurls him violently to the ground. The crash of arm against arm resounds like splitting bamboo. Then, summoning all his great strength, Brigodara hurls Kichaka across the dance hall. He tosses him about like a tree in a hurricane. Besieged by Bhima, Kichaka begins to tremble with weakness, but then he repels the Pandava, and even Bhima stumbles. Kichaka strikes him with his knees and fells him, but Bhima gets up quickly, like Yama himself with amazing hand. At midnight in that lonely place, intoxicated with their own strength, the Sutta and the Pandava battle, and the whole edifice shudders with their roars. Bhima clenches his great fist and strikes Kichaka squarely on his chest, but his lust for Panchali gives Kichaka natural strength, and he stands his ground, but only for a moment. The Sutta is exhausted, Bhima's overpowering him, and seeing Kichaka weaken, Bhima pulls him to his chest and begins to crush him in iron arms. Panting in rage, Brigodara seizes Kichaka's hair and roars like a hungry tiger that has killed some massive prey. Knowing his enemy is near the end, Brigodara holds him fast, as if thrashing an animal with a rope. The dazed Kichaka roars horribly, like a broken trumpet, as Bhima whirls him round and round. And then, to appease Krishna's anger, Brikodara grabs his enemy's neck and squeezes it with his hands. By now, all Kichaka's limbs are broken, and his eyelids are swollen shut. But Brikodara smashes his knees into Kichaka's belly and unrelentingly crushes the body of that man, the worst of his clan, and kills him as if he is an animal. At last, seeing that his prey lies motionless, Bhima rolls the inert Kichaka on the ground and, with a heartfelt sigh of deeper release, says, "This dog who wanted to ravish your wife, this thorn in the flesh of this artery, is dead. I have discharged my debt to my brothers, and I am at peace." Then, still red-eyed, Bhima rises away from Kichaka, whose clothes and ornaments have been torn off, but whose eyes roll in his head as his bloated, drenched body still twitches in spasms, wringing his hands and biting his lip in undiminished fury. Bhima launches himself once more upon his enemy. He thrusts Kichaka's head, neck, arms, and legs into his torso and reduces him to a shapeless mass. As the wielder of the Pinaka once did the deer, which Yagna became to escape his ire. Having crushed him to pulp, Bhima rolls Kichaka into a ball of flesh, and he calls out to Krishna, hiding in a corner. Watching riveted, her breast heaving in excitement, mighty Bhimasama grinds Kichaka's body under his feet and says to Draupadi, "Come, Panchali, and see what has become of the Licher." And showing Kichaka's body to Draupadi by the light of a lamp, he says to her, "Sentinel, chaste one, I will kill anyone who lusts after you, exactly as I have done Kichaka." Having accomplished his difficult task to please Krishna, and having pacified his own rage, Bhima leaves Krishna and hurries back to his kitchen, her torment assuaged by Kichaka's death. Draupadi, Best among all women is ecstatic. She calls to the guards of the dance hall. Come, all of you, and look at Kichaka who lasted after other men's wives. Look where he lies, slain by my Gandharva husbands. The guards of the dance hall hear her and rush in, torches in hand. They see Kichaka's bloodied, dismembered body on the ground. They gaze at him in shock and say in amazement, "Where is his neck and where are his legs?" When they see how their general has been slain, surely by superhuman forces, they decide that he has indeed been killed by a Gandharva. And that's Canto 22. Wow. Is there any actual message? I am pretty sure there is nothing there. It was pretty violent. That one? Last one too? It's... I always struggle with that actually. I think that in most encounters, in most fights that break out during the Mahabharata, the cantos that contain them don't really have anything else. It's more, I wouldn't say a glorification of violence or anything like that, but it certainly is something interesting to see how intense it gets, then nothing else happens of significance. But yeah. Anyways. Yes. We continue. Canto 23. Kichakavadhya Parva continue. When Sampayana said, Kichaka's kinsmen rushed to the dance hall, see him tearing at around his body, wailing loudly. The sight of him lying there mangled, like a dead tortoise dragged out of the water onto dry ground, is too much for them. The hair on their bodies stands on end in horror. They take his body, crushed by Bhima like a Danava by Indra, and prepare it for the funeral rites. The Sutta clansmen assembled there. Then note Krishna of the perfect body leaning against a pillar and exclaim, "This loose woman, for whom Ketchaka has given his life, must die, or even better, instead of killing her, here let us cremate her alive on the pyre of the one who desired her. It is our dharma to do what they did, so that Putra will have wanted." They go to Virata and say, "It is because of her that Kichaka has died. It is only right that she is cremated along with him, and he must give us leave to do this." Virata is aware of the extent of the power the Sutta wills and agrees to let the Sairatari be burned alive with the body of the Sutta's son. Kichaka's clansmen violently seize Lotus Eye Krishna, who is paralyzed with terror. They tie up the slender wasted one, haul her onto the funeral cart, and set off excitedly for the smasana. O king, as she is forcibly carried to the burning ground by the Suttas, the chaste Krishna, who is protected by her husbands, cries out aloud to them, "Haya, Hayanta, Vihaya, Hayatsena, Hayarbala, the Suttas are taking me away." Oh, sweet Gandharvas, whose chariot wheels rumble and whose bowstrings sound like thunderclaps, hear me! Oh, the Suttas are going to burn me alive! Bhima hears Krishna's cries, leaps out of his bed, without a moment's thought, and roars, "I hear you, Sairatari! Have no more fear of the Suttas, gentle one." Bhima of the mighty arms stretches his body and dresses with care. He creeps out of the palace, climbs a tree and bolts over the lofty city wall. He runs to the smasana, where Kichaka's kinsmen have gone, and he charges the Suttas with the dreadful roars. On his way he sees a large tree, tall as a palmyra, with a gigantic trunk and withered top branches. Bhima grasps this tree that spans 10 byamas and uproots it as easily as an elephant would. With that tray across his shoulders, looking like Yama with his mace, the Kshatriya runs at the Suttas. In his wake, Bandyans, Pipals, and Kinsukans crash to the ground. The Suttas see Bhima, sorry, rushing towards them like a furious lion. They tremble in panic and say fearfully to each other, "Look, the Gandharva comes full of rage, with an uprooted tree in his hands. It is the Saratari who has put us in danger. Let us set her free." Staring at the tree uprooted by Vimasena, they release their body and run frantically back towards the city. Seeing them run away, Bio's mighty son flings the tree at the fleeing suitors, and just as Indra killed the Navas, dispatches 105 of them to Yamaloka. O king, he frees Draupadi from her bonds and comforts her. Irrepressible Vrikotara says to the agitated Panchali, her face bathed in tears, "See, gentle one, I have killed those that wronged you. Krishna, return to the city. You need no longer be afraid. I will take another way back to the palace kitchens. Mahabharata, these 105 Kichaka clansmen are slain, and their corpses lie on the ground like a corpse of trees felled by a hurricane. The slaughter suitas number 105, including Virata Senapati Kichaka, the number 106. The men and women gathered there watch the incredible feat and are all spellbound. O Mahabharata, speechless. Who? What? Okay, at this point, yeah, continuing because truly there is not much actually. Perhaps this next one is better. Also, perhaps this is, yeah, maybe this is the last one of today. Maybe. Canto 24. Kichakavadka Parva continue. By Sampayana said, the citizens witnessed the massacre of the Sutas and reported back to Virata. "Oh, Red King, the mighty sons of Sutas have all been killed by the Gandharavas and lie scattered on the earth like mountain peaks fractured by thunder. The Sairatri has been released and is returning to the palace. Her presence here will endanger your kingdom. The Sairatri is unnaturally beautiful, and her Gandharavas are as powerful as she is lovely. Men are irresistibly drawn to her. Oh, Virata, protect your kingdom from the vengeance of the Gandharavas for the wrongs done to her." Virata, lord of vast hosts, says, "Perform the last rites of the Sutas. Let all the slain men of Kichaka's clan be cremated on one pyre with gemstones and frankincense." Then, fearful of what might happen, the king says to his queen Sudeshna, "When the Saratari comes back, say to her from me, blessings upon you, my beautiful Saratari. You are free to go wherever you wish, you of the graceful hips. What your Gandharva husbands did has alarmed the king, because these Gandharvas watch jealously over you. He dares not say this to you himself. A woman, however, cannot give offense by speaking to you, and so he speaks through one." Saved by Vimasena's slaughter of the Sutas, now the intelligent Krishna has no cause for fear. However, after she bathes her body and washes her clothes, she approaches the city, still nervous, like a dove frightened by a tiger. Rahan, terrified of the Gandharavas, the people run in all directions when they see her. Some even shut their eyes. Panchali sees Bhima standing at the palace gates like an infuriated tusker. With eyes wide in adoring wonder, Draupadi whispers to him so no one else can hear, "I salute you, O Prince of the Gandharavas, my savior." Bhima declares loudly, "All who have been living in servitude or debt, who hear these words of hers, are hereby freed from all their obligations." Draupadi sees Arjuna in the dance hall, teaching Virata's daughters dance. When Krishna arrives there, all the girls come out with Arjuna to meet her. They say, "Sairatari, it is fortunate." Sairatari, it is fortunate indeed that you have been rescued from danger. You are lucky to return safe. We are glad that the suitors who abused you are dead. Brihanala says, "How are you saved, Sairatari? And how did those sinful men die? I want to hear exactly what happened." The Sairatari replies, "Brihanala, You live contentedly in the woman's apartments. Why do you concern yourself with what has happened to a mere secretary? You do not face the trials that I have been through. Your questions are only to ridicule me in my distress. Brihanala says, Blessed one, Brihanala too has sorrows of her own. She has become as low as an animal. Dear Saratari, you do not understand this. I have lived with you and you with us. When you are beset with sorrow, who does not grieve for you? But no one can read another's heart, and you do not know what I feel. Sentinel Malini? Draupadi then goes with the girls to the Antapura to see Sudeshna. When she comes before the queen, Pirata's wife says to her, Sairandari, I set you free this moment to go wherever you wish. The king is fearful because of what your Karavas had done. Lovely one, you are young and your beauty is without compare in this world. Besides, you are an object of desire for all men, and the Gandharvas are easily provoked to anger. The Sairatri says, Oh, gracious queen, I beg that the king allow me to live here for just another 13 days. The Gandharvas, too, will be grateful to him for this. Then they will do what the king asks of them and take me away from here. Pirata will reap great benefits if he agrees. That's Canto 24. Wow. It's the only interesting notation to make is this whole discussion between Brihanala and Draupadi, as in Brihanala is the veiled mask or persona of Arjuna, and the whole discussion or conversation more so is simply him almost begging her to explain what happened and her not wanting to tell because she's still angry, I think. But anyways, it's, as I said, it's not even that much. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. The question is then, how long is the next canto? What? 2 pages? 2 pages long? When are we gonna find a long one? What? They're all so tiny. Why are they so tiny? Okay. We can read 3 more cantos then if they are going to be this tiny. Why are they so tiny? What's up with that? Anyway. The more the merrier or something like that. So yeah, we shall proceed. Canto 25. Goharana Parva. Basabenaser. O Rahan, the slaughter of Kichaka and his kinsmen fills people with awe. The talk in the city and provinces is that the king's cook Balava is as brave and mighty a warrior as Kichaka, but with the notable difference that Kichaka was cruel, lecherous, and dishonored the wives of other men, and that this was why that sinner was killed by the Gandharavas. In provinces all across the kingdom, people said this of the hitherto invincible Kichaka, scores of his enemies. Meanwhile, the spies sent by the Dharatarashtra's son comb villages, towns, and kingdoms. They fulfill their assignment and return to Nagapura, pleased with at least one thing they have learned. The Dharatarashtra's son, Duryodhana of the Kurus, sits in his court with Drona, Karna, Kripa, and noble Bhishma, and his own brothers and the great warriors, the Trigartes, when his spies return to him. Their leader says, O Lord of men, you have searched meticulously for the Pandavas. We scored down people's jungles full of deer and other animals, and dig with all kinds of trees and plants. We looked in wooded glades, but we did not discover where Preta's sons may have gone. We searched everywhere for their footprints, in the mountains and on their unscalable peaks. In every kingdom, in provinces and towns, and in densely peopled cities, we found no sign of the sons of Pandu. but among men they seem to have vanished without a trace. Although we followed those Kshatriyas like shadows, we lost them suddenly and do not know where they are now. We have followed their chariots and gained some information. The charioteers reached Dwavarati without the sons of Prita. Rahan, neither the Pandavas nor the chaste Krishna are in that Yadava city. Since we have not been able to discover where they went or where they are now, we must inform you that the sons of Pandu have disappeared without a trace. We know what the Pandavas are like and the feats of which they are capable. Lord of men, tell us what more we shall do to discover them. The man pauses, then continues. However, we do have some news which might please you. The Senapati of the Matsya king, evil Kechaka who repeatedly vanquished and brutally killed the Trigartas, is dead along with all his kinsmen. They were killed by invincible Gandharvas. We were delighted to hear this news, O Kaurava. Lord, now command us for what we shall do next. I will simply continue this right. Yeah. My mom always says, when you don't have anything what to say, don't say anything at all. So yeah. Canto 26. Goharana Parva continue. Vaisampayana said, Duryodhana reflects a while on what his spies tell him, and then addresses his courtiers. He says, it is a difficult task, but you must find the sons of Pandu at any cost. In this 13th year, which they must pass and discover by us, most of their Agnatavasa is already over. Only a short time of it remains. If the Pandavas, who are punctilious about keeping their word, can stay hidden for the rest of this year, they will have fulfilled their oath. They will then return like mighty elephants with rent temples, or like venomous snakes, unfilled with Rajas they will be. Their vengeance on the Gurus will be terrible. Do whatever is necessary, and immediately to find the Pandavas and make them go back into the forest, swallowing their rage like the bitterest bile. Use any means. Make this kingdom peaceful and harmonious with no discontent, rebellion or enmity anywhere, and secure our borders. Karna adds to this saying, little better, more cunning spies we sent out immediately. Mahabharata, let them disguise themselves well and travel throughout the land, through every populous kingdom and province. Let them make their inquiries wherever learned men gather, in pleasant rural retreats, in the inner apartments of palaces, in shrines and holy tirthas, in deep mines and other secret places. The search for the disguised sons of Pandu must be exhaustive and carried out by an army of expert spies who are able, conscientious, and who keep themselves hidden and know the Pandavas and their ways well. Let them search river banks, holy tirthas, villages and towns, asaramas, in mountains and caves. The bestial Duryodhana says to his elder brother, Lord of men, this time send out only those spies in whom we have complete confidence, and pay them in advance. We approve of Karna's plan as well. Let these spies renew their search, but more rigorously. Let others too go from province to province, combing every village and town, every forest and hill. Yet I do not believe that we will discover the Pandavas. They are surely well concealed. Perhaps they have crossed the ocean, or it may be that, despite their strength and courage, wild animals have devoured them. Possibly they have died in some rare unforeseen circumstance. Therefore, oh my brother, do not be anxious, but do the best you can to achieve what you want. I see. And last canto of the day, canto 27, Goharana Parva continue. Vaisampayana said, Drona says, men like the Pandavas do not die in the ways you imagine. They are masters of all sciences and arts. They are brave, intelligent, and have all their senses under control. They are humble and honest. They obediently follow Yudhishthira Dharmaraja. He is knowledgeable about Niti, art and Dharma. He loves them like a father. He is unswervingly truthful and lives strictly by the dictates of Dharma. The Pandavas are devoted to their illustrious elder brother, who is gifted with great intelligence, who never knowingly harms anyone and who, in turn, listens to his younger brothers. Such men never die in the ways that you so fondly hope. Why should Yudhishthira not be able to restore the prosperity of his noble and devoted brothers? They are only waiting for their exile to end. To my mind, men like these never perish, misfortunately. Therefore, without wasting time and with careful thought, do what has to be done. Also, think hard and deeply where the Pandavas might have hidden themselves. They are spiritually disciplined, pure and heroic Kshatriyas, and it will be difficult indeed to find them. Yudhishthira is intelligent, possesses every virtue, is devoted to truth, principled, a holy man, and the embodiment of immeasurable Tejas. This son of Preta can make ashes of his enemies with a mere glance. Knowing all this, do what you think you should. Let us search for them once more by sending out holy Brahmanas and well-schooled Charanas, and others who know about those peerless Kshatriyas. And with that, I guess, the message is something like, and the hunt so begins. But yeah, that's the entirety of today, yes, because I am tired. Yes, here is where we finish this time. How many? Like 20 pages, 30 pages or so? Yeah. But it was good, anyways. Yeah. At the very least, we progress. I'm still, I wouldn't say angry, but yeah, disappointed that not all of it actually contains useful knowledge. But can't happen, I guess. It's part of the experience. Anyway, thanks for being here. No, it's very good still. So yes, until next time. I don't know when. Probably tomorrow or so. Yeah. But yeah, for now, we are done. Thanks. As always, take care. Thanks for the attention, for the time, for the interest, for everything. Take care. Be responsible, drink water, rest, all of that. And see us next time. And even if there is no next time, still do your part. And good night.